Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, April 20th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts as a trader, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Real quick, before I get to the watch list, I first want to personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering here in just a couple of days. So if you're liking what you see and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to build consistency as a trader, and why, quite frankly, it's just such a powerful tool, then certainly get signed up for the free live class. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you're liking what you see, then certainly get signed up for the free class. A couple of quick clarification points. First off, this number over here will be changing as I talk about each chart because the market is still open for a while. So yeah, this candlestick here will be moving around. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open for a while because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day type price movement. And then second, I will be using the 30-minute time frame for all of these. So what that means for you beginners is that each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So on that note, you can see that the final 30 minutes here, not looking so good for the first stock, which is SEV. But overall, looking at more than just the last 30 minutes, very nice pattern here. And when you have well-defined patterns, you know that there's going to be a bunch of people looking at it. And when there's lots of people looking at the same thing, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movements. So while there is no such thing as a guarantee in the market, my point is this, that there's going to be a bunch of people that have drawn that trend line right there. And there's going to be a bunch of people that would, call themselves breakout players. They're going to say, if the price can work its way up and then get a push up through that level, I'm going to go ahead and buy. So does that mean that, again, for sure guaranteed, if that line's broken, a big surge of momentum is going to show up? Again, of course not. However, is it at least plausible to think that a big surge of momentum could show up? Yeah, absolutely. So keep an eye on that trend line there, assuming you like to play breakouts. If you're someone that likes to more so play pullbacks, then an interesting area of support here on this one can be right down there around that $7 mark. And then just from an overall pattern perspective, we have the resistance, we have the support, we have the big momentum move right there. Let's put our golf hole down there, and we have what is known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants, if you like stocks that are down below the $10 mark, I definitely say get this one on your watch list. Next one, MDVL, and I'm putting this one on for one reason and one reason alone, and that's because of that level right there at 325, which along the same lines as I just talked about, the whole idea of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I assure you a lot of people have, mapped out this general area. So maybe it's not exactly 325, give or take a few cents. But point here being, this general area here, you're going to have all sorts of people watching it. So as I just said, does that mean there's a guarantee? No, but does it mean it's plausible and rational to think that if the price can get up to that level and then push up through it, that the break of 325 could very well create additional amounts of momentum? Yeah, absolutely. So I really like that well-defined area at 325. And then as far as support levels are concerned, overall, keep an eye on this purple line right here, which is the 50-period simple moving average. And you can see a couple times now, price has gotten right down around that area. And so far, so good. It's done a great job of holding. Now, that level may seem kind of irrelevant given its way down here, but keyword with that being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. So just keep that in mind. But overall, yeah, 325, I think that is the level that most people are watching and wondering about. Next one here, AMC, and very, very nice recovery after yesterday's action, which was pretty disappointing to have the price drop back inside of this channel right here. But as quick as it dropped back on the channel, all of a sudden the price has gotten back to the top of the channel and moved well above it. So we are in the middle of another very, very big move, which is where once again, as it was last week, this 1775 mark now becomes very important. Why is it so important? Well, as of now, there's no doubt about it. This is a very strong move. Nobody's going to argue against that. But the key question becomes, but is this a truly strong move? And if it is a truly strong move, then it's going to show signs of progress. And my definition of a quote-unquote sign of progress is staying above 1775. Because if the price were to come down here and then fall right back inside of this channel, well, think about that. Price movements with genuine strength are not going to go back to where they were. But on the flip side, if the price does pull back, because nothing can go straight up, but if it pulls back, goes sideways and then, bounces there, well, now what do you have? Well, you'd have a set of lows at 1775. You'd have a set of lows there. If you envision those as stair steps, well, there you go. There you have your sign of progress. So in my mind, 1775 remains a very important level moving forward. Next one, ATER, and late day on Monday, price came up there and got the break up through that trend line right there, got the gap up. But unfortunately, in trading jargon, this is what we call a gap and trap, meaning the price did gap up this morning, but after that, just bled and bled and bled. So overall, not a great day. Assuming, of course, you're some sort of day trader, and if you're, buying up around here, then yeah, from that angle, not very good. But if I take a step back and look at this from more of a bigger picture point of view, then you can still see that overall, generally speaking, the price is still very much so in an uptrend. And I'm not saying that this will occur, but just for explanation's sake and to help visualize, let's say that the price actually does come down to that area of support, which as of now would still be a pretty big fall. But even if it came down there and stabilized out, what would you have? Once again, emphasis on big picture. Well, from the big picture, you'd have a set of lows there. You'd have lows there, you'd have lows there, you'd have lows down here. And if you envision those as stair-steps, what do you have? Well, from the big picture, you would still very, very, very clearly have stair-steps progressing in the upwards direction. So once again, it's all about perspective. If you're a day trader and you bought right there, then yeah, you don't really care about this stair-step down here. But assuming you do care about the grand scheme of things, even with the gap and trap pullback today, think about that word today, as in one day. When you look at multiple days, there is still plenty of opportunity to continue on building with the overall uptrend. Next one, TBLT for you penny stock players out here. But I like this one just for the simple reason of it showed some strength. It showed some ability to move during that opening 30 minutes right there. Nice green candlestick, huge volume bar right there. Yes, it's pulled back. So it really just becomes a question of, do you believe that this is a healthy pullback? And is there going to be another leg of momentum to the upside? And assuming you can honor stop losses, then you have a very straightforward, trade plan. You have a very well-defined area of support right here that you could base some stop losses of. And then if you want to look for a little bit more confirmation in terms of movements to the upside, you have a pretty straightforward, upside break point right there at 22. So worst case, like I said, maybe this just continues to bleed further and further, but that's okay because that's what a stop loss is for. But if you do get some sort of move back to the upside, you could be, sitting in a very pretty situation there. So if you're someone that's going to be disciplined, that can honor stop losses, and you like to play these penny stocks, then I definitely have this one on your watch list. Next one here, PTPI, same general premise as the one I just talked about, which is why I positioned it here. It was in the watch list, so I don't have to repeat myself as much, but same general concept, right? Very nice opening move. If you believe that this is just a healthy pullback, then you have a couple of very nice areas of support. You have the pink line there, 200 period moving average. That purple line, as I've mentioned already, the 50 period moving average. So if this thing can pull back a bit more, get down around, right on this $1.30 mark, then you could have you would have a very nice risk first reward scenario. But like I said, that assumes that you can be disciplined and honor those stop losses. So if you like to play these sorts of setups where, things are looking pretty ugly, but sometimes those are things start to turn around, then this is another one that should definitely be on your watch list. Next one, CEI. And overall, what I'm going to do is get rid of that line there because in my mind, the level now that really stands out just that much more. Now, this trend line right there, which I drew in yesterday's video on Monday, was already very well defined. But now that we have this big afternoon bounce, and sure, the price didn't hit that trend line exactly, but I think we can all agree it certainly got within the general vicinity of it right there. And then once again, has been rejected back down. And I say all that because that officially, there's just going to be that many more eyeballs now watching that trend line right there. So as I've said in previous stocks, no guarantees, but if this thing can recover back up to that area and then push up through it, it's plausible to think that that could create a very nice amount of upwards momentum. Although this last 30 minutes here, looking a bit shaky, but as far as supports are concerned, I'm going to go ahead and put in this level here now that we have more data right around that 92 cent mark. This was the former area of resistance, which has now done a great job this morning acting as support right there. So keep an eye on that for you pullback players. But as far as breakout is concerned, like I said, I think there's going to be just so many more eyeballs watching that trend line. Next one here, PLUG. Very nice movement today. Pretty sure they had earnings. I guess I don't know that for sure, but based on the chart, I would assume that they had earnings, but it doesn't really matter because we're traders. We're just looking for volume and setups. And in this situation, the setup here that really stands out is going to be this trend line right here, which when you think about it, crazy, the power of charts. By using that data point and that data point, look how it very accurately forecasted where this area of resistance would be. But once again, I'm not trying to impress you. A bunch of people have noticed that. So when a bunch of people are watching the same level, you've heard me say it, we have a possibility of self-fulfilling prophecies. So keep an eye on that potential breakout point right there as an area for those people that like to play breakouts and momentum. If you like to play pullbacks, then an interesting pullback level in my mind right down here at, let's see, what is that? $26.90. But I think the most interesting dynamic, the dynamic that the majority of people will be watching is that trend line breakout area there right around, let's call it 28.35. So definitely keep a close eye on that. Next one, PLTR, which a lot like AMC. I mean, yesterday was not good at all for PLTR. It came down broke that trend line that I talked about previously, and then just got really nasty. Fell all the way down there, a little bit of a bounce, but then look at today. But boom, up it went. Not only did it get to that trend line, but well back above it. So moving forward now, really two main levels of support that stand out to me. That first level will be that 50-period moving average, and then the next level, once again, being that level of, or being, that trend line right there, which ideally, if it does get tested, it'll go back to, behaving as it did in these previous examples right there. So those will be the main areas of support. As far as resistance is concerned, first key level of resistance, currently right up here at the $13 mark. And then if $13 can be broken, the next overarching level is going to be, the very well-known, the very famous pink line up there, which on my chart denotes the 200-period moving average, currently valid, let's just call it $13.25. But yeah, no doubt about it. Really, really rough day on Monday, but then today, what a turnaround. Next one, TSLA Tesla. Tested the top part of this channel here that I talked about, and it broke above it and then fell back below it, and then is now kind of just hovering around that area, which all makes sense, right? It's just hovering around this general area. So in my mind, the main question moving forward is, what is the price actually going to do? Is it going to get rejected at the top side of the channel and start to, work its way down to potentially the bottom part? Or is this just a leading indicator of a bigger breakout to the upside where it continues on up? So that's going to be kind of the starting point for any potential trade plan that I put together on it. If it does continue on up, then the next key level of resistance that I'm very curious about, actually, let me just put this up here because is it a almost a double whammy. But we have this area up here around the 1045, 1050 mark, and I call it a double whammy because, yeah, you have this level right there, but then not that far away, you have the 200-period moving average, they're both basically the same level, but not quite. So you have this kind of general area of resistance up there that could be very interesting if that, area does come into play from the resistance side of things. If there are any sort of pullbacks, then the near term, the level that, I'll definitely be curious about will be down here at, what is that? The 1018-ish mark. And then, of course, that 50-period moving average, which is right now valued at, I can't really see it there, but 1,006. So those would be the main levels to watch from a Tesla point of view. But overall, you got to love the trending. You got to love the stair steps as you start to look at these lows that have been put into place. And as long as those stair steps continue on up, then you got to like the bullishness situation here. That wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build that consistency, then, like I said, in a couple days, get signed up for the class. It'll be Thursday, April 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and it will definitely be live. And no worries if you're skeptical, I'll prove it to you that it's live once we get to that day. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, if you would like for me to continue to put in the time and effort to create this sort of content, then please help me out with some basic feedback. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment below, even if it's just saying thanks. Tell me a ticker that you traded today. Tell me what you're watching tomorrow. But hitting the like button and a basic comment really do not only help out the channel, which I appreciate, but also communicate to me that you enjoy these top 10s. As long as I know people are enjoying the watch list, then I will continue to put them together. So again, get signed up for that free live class here in a couple of days. Hopefully I'll see you there. Everybody take care. Have a good one.